It happened in less than 30 seconds. One decision. One step. One moment that could have ended everything. She didn't see the car coming. But he did. And if he had been 2 seconds later, she wouldn't be here. They were strangers that night. By morning, their lives were permanently connected. This isn't just a love story. It's a story about fate, trauma, vulnerability, and how sometimes love begins in the middle of chaos. It was raining. Not the gentle kind, the heavy kind that blurs headlights and makes the world feel smaller. Ava had stayed late at work. She hated walking alone at night, but she told herself it was only 3 blocks to her apartment. She replayed the argument she'd had earlier with her sister. She wasn't paying attention. Across the street, Ethan was locking up the small restaurant he managed. He noticed her because she hesitated at the curb. The traffic light flickered. A car sped through the intersection, trying to beat the red light. Ava stepped forward. Ethan saw it instantly. The car wasn't slowing down. He didn't think. He ran. He grabbed her arm and pulled her back just as the car flew past, close enough for the wind to knock them off balance. They hit the pavement hard. For a moment, there was only the sound of rain. And her shaking breath. "You almost," he started, but couldn't finish. She stared at him, pale. "I didn't even see it." "I know." Neither of them moved right away. The shock hadn't worn off yet. Her hands wouldn't stop trembling. Ethan helped her sit up. "Are you hurt?" "My ankle," she whispered. It wasn't broken. Just twisted. But she couldn't stand. He insisted on walking her home. She almost said no. Almost. But something about the way his voice shook told her he was just as shaken as she was. Inside her apartment, the reality hit her. If he hadn't been there. She sat on the couch, staring at nothing. Ethan stood awkwardly near the door. "I should probably go," he said quietly. She looked up. "Wait." The word surprised both of them. "Can you just stay for a minute?" He did. They didn't talk much. Just sat there, letting the adrenaline fade. 2 strangers connected by a moment that could have ended differently. The next morning, Ethan couldn't focus at work. The image replayed in his mind, her stepping into traffic. The sound of the car. The impact of pulling her back. He told himself she was fine now. But something felt unfinished. So after his shift, he walked back to her building. He almost turned around twice. But he knocked. Ava opened the door, surprised. "You came back." "I just wanted to make sure you're okay." She smiled, small, but real. "I am. Thanks to you." That's when the awkwardness faded. They talked. About work. About how close the call really was. About how strange it felt to owe your life to someone you just met. "You don't owe me anything," he said gently. But she felt like she did. Not in a transactional way. In a soul-level way. Over the next few weeks, they kept in touch. Coffee turned into dinners. Dinners turned into long walks, ironically, always far from traffic. But beneath the growing connection was something heavier. Ethan couldn't shake the fear. He had lost someone before. His younger brother. A car accident. He never told Ava at first. But every time she crossed the street without looking carefully, his chest tightened. He wasn't just protective. He was terrified. One evening, she noticed. "You don't have to watch me like that," she said softly. "I know," he replied. "I just can't lose someone like that again." That was the first time he told her. About his brother. About the guilt. About how saving her felt like rewriting something he never got to fix. Ava's eyes filled with tears. "You didn't just save me," she whispered. "You saved yourself too." But trauma doesn't disappear just because love starts growing. Ethan began pulling back. Canceling plans. Answering texts late. He convinced himself he was getting too attached. That if something ever happened to her, it would destroy him. Ava felt it. The distance. The hesitation. "You can't protect yourself by pushing me away," she said one night, her voice breaking. "You don't understand," he replied. "The night I saved you, I realized how fragile everything is." She stepped closer. "That's exactly why it matters." Silence. Heavy. Honest. "I'm not alive because of fate," she said. "I'm alive because you chose to act. Don't choose fear now." Love didn't explode between them. It built slowly, through conversations about anxiety, through shared vulnerability, through healing. Ethan stopped seeing her as someone he needed to guard, and started seeing her as someone strong. Ava stopped seeing him as just her rescuer, and started seeing the gentle, broken, loyal man beneath. 1 year later, on the anniversary of that rainy night, they walked past the same intersection. This time, hand in hand. The light turned red. They waited. He looked at her and smiled. "You still owe me coffee," he teased. She squeezed his hand. "I think I'll spend the rest of my life paying you back." He stopped walking. "I don't want repayment." "What do you want?" He took a breath. "You." No chaos. No speeding cars. No rain. Just certainty. Sometimes love begins with grand gestures. Sometimes it begins with ordinary moments. And sometimes, it begins with survival. He saved her life. But in loving her, he learned something even harder. You can't live in fear of losing someone. You have to choose them. Every day. Because life is fragile. And love is braver than fear. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more emotional, realistic storytelling. And tell me in the comments, do you believe some people enter our lives for a reason? Or was it just coincidence? Sometimes 1 second changes everything. And sometimes, it leads you to forever.